Hello, I'm Steve Daniel. I'm married to Cindy Daniel, and as of nearly 22 years, my background, my homing was very important to me. Did a lot of interesting things, went fishing quite a bit, hunting, had some friends with some ranches out of San Antonio where I grew up. And during weekends when we weren't in school, either we were down at the coast fishing or we were somewheres up at the rivers inner tubing, or we weren't at home. We never stayed at home. And a lot of times when I was in school, I'd come home and my parents would have a note on the kitchen table saying we went fishing. Well, I'd get with a couple of my friends and we figured I'd leave a note on the kitchen table, say, well, I went fishing too. And sometimes we'd go to the same place and there'd be my mom and dad out there fishing. So it was very important to me that a lot of the things that we did when I was growing up that I still remember. Going to ranches and riding horses and inner tubing and just having a good time and going to carnivals and festivals and just enjoying life in general. Um, Basically, I've been a truck driver since 72, on and off, doing different jobs. I ended up in Iraq from '04 till 11, driving a truck over there. I wasn't military, but I was with a government contractor, and that was a very unusual job over there. Is is really rough over there at times, but I managed to get through that. Then I came home, and I was going to go to Afghanistan, but my wife said, "You've been over there long enough. Time to come home." So I did, and since then, still been driving trucks on and off, and I've been, I guess, through every state there is, more than once. And it's been a very unusual lifestyle that I've had, but I've enjoyed it a lot more than probably other people. We've had our rough times and good times, but we're still managing. And at home, well, I got five girls there. Well, my wife and two daughters and grandkids, and it kind of makes it rough sometimes when you're the only boy except for me and my guinea pig. And other than that, feeding him, keeping him happy. Uh, when I come home from driving, I got yard work to do, which keeps me occupied, gets me out of the house too. And when you got five girls there, the best thing to do is be outside in the shed or in the yard anyway in the first place. But other than that, it's been a good life and I've enjoyed it. And I wouldn't give $1,000,000 to, for what I've done. And I had a good life. My parents were good to me. And we weren't real rich or nothing, but whatever we managed to have, we enjoyed it. And I wouldn't give it up for nothing.
Except Iraq.
Except Iraq. Now that was a whole different story there. It was pretty rough. There was good times over there, and there were some bad times, and there's I'm getting worse. A lot of times I kind of think about Iraq and all the poor soldiers that came back and never made it, and
And the civilian drivers, too.
yeah, and civilian drivers too. There's a bunch of them. In fact, a lot of my friends that I was with over there, especially during April 9th of '04 when they got hit in Baghdad, I had a lot of good friends over there, and a lot of them didn't make it, and some of them they never did find. And I still have a lot of flashbacks of that. And it's just one of them situations in a war. A lot of people come back from wars and they just don't like talking about it. My dad was in World War II in the Navy, and a lot of the TV shows on, he just didn't like watching them because it brought back a lot of stuff on him, and it kind of did the same thing to me, even though Iraq wasn't considered a real major war. My dad, he was on an aircraft carrier, battleships, destroyers, and everything else, and he saw real battle right there during World War II. And a lot of times he didn't even want to talk about it, which I can understand, kind of relate to it now. But other than that, we had a real good life and really enjoyed it.
Since you were one of the drivers in the Good Friday roadside bombing and you survived it, why do they call you real fast?
Well, actually, that particular day when we left our base, which was Balad, the roads were black, and there's four major, well, green, yellow, red, and black. Well, black is the one where you really don't go out. You stay on the base because things are really hot out there on the roads, and only active military is supposed to be out there. Well, they had a couple loads going to Baghdad for fuel, and we weren't supposed to go. Well, we got down there, and things were really getting hot and heavy down there, so they locked us down. And we were actually in Baghdad for 11 days, and that was supposed to have been a turnaround run. Well, we got down there, and the HR lady came out there to where we were staged up and said, well, since y'all can't get back to your base, if y'all need any clothes, food, money, whatever y'all need while you're here, until y'all get back to your base, let us know, and you got priority. Well, while she was talking to us, we had some mortars come into the parking lot. I had 5 of them that hit within about 100 yards of us. And she said, well, actually, I don't know how y'all do it. Y'all out there on the roads and getting hit with IEDs and everything else, and I just don't know how you do it. And I said, well, we just do it real fast. And I had my supervisor and a couple other people around us, and they started laughing and says, well, we're just going to call you real fast, because when you're in training, they say if you're ever in a kill zone area, get out of it real fast and let the military handle it. So I just said real fast, and that's how my handle actually came up, real fast.
And so when you were driving and they were bombing you, were you driving real fast?
Yeah, as fast as that truck would go.
But
Yeah,
you got out.
yeah, the trucks would run about 70, and whatever they'd do. And a lot of times, if you ended up in traffic or the roads were real bad on one particular side of the road, if you're southbound, you'd cross the median, get in the northbound lane, and just keep on going. And we'd do that until we could get back over into whatever lane we were supposed to be in. But when you're hauling JP8, which was a jet fuel, which supplied a lot of the tanks and some of the different equipment over there had been converted over to JP8 because it was an easy fuel to get a hold of. When you got 8,000 gallons of it, you can't afford to sit too long and let someone try to pop you off on it. So anytime we were hauling fuel, it was a non-stop run, just as fast as you could go from one base to the other and get off the road as soon as you could.
How did you end up truck driving?
Well, when I got out of school, I was trying to become an airline pilot, and I went down. This was during right after Vietnam, and a lot of the pilots were coming back. And I went to American, Delta. I went to a bunch of different places trying to get on as a pilot. And I went to one particular airline, and the guy there said, I'm not supposed to show you this, but come look at this room. And it was a huge room full of file cabinets. And everything in there was full of pilots that were coming back. Marine pilots, Navy pilots, Army, just whatever you could think of, pilots coming back from Nam. And those file cabinets were completely full of different pilots that already had their, many hours of flying. So actually, I was kind of bumped out of that job. So then they asked me if I'd be a steward and help, in the jet, waiting on people. And I said, yeah, I'd do that. That sounds pretty interesting. Well, come to find out, military had priority on that. So my dad says, well, looks like that isn't going to work. Why don't you go to truck driving? So here I am, 40-something years later, still driving. But it's been interesting. I've seen a lot of parts of the country that most people, don't even get to see when, they get in older age and go on vacation. And I've seen a lot of country and really enjoyed it.
And today you're going to your driver orientation for Ryder.
Yep, I'm getting ready to go down, starting another job, going down from a truck driving test, which I'm not too worried about because half the time I get down there and do my driving, and a lot of times they say, you've been driving before, haven't you? And I said, yeah, I've been driving since 72. And
Never had an accident.
no, never have so far, and I guess I've got well over a couple million miles driving.
Well, it's remarkable you didn't have an accident when you were driving fuel in Iraq.
Yeah, I was real lucky. One of the very, very few that actually did not get hit when I was over there, but came really close a bunch of times. But just chalk it up. Just keep on going.
Why do you like going to events with us?
It's something different. I enjoy it, meeting different people, getting to talk to them, and don't really talk to them too much about different things. But a lot of people, they talk about fishing, hunting, uh, NASCAR races, and just different things. And we just sit there and talk and get to meet people and see how other people live. It's not good just to have two or three friends. You just meet different people, and before you know it, you're friends with them. And you call them up and just see how they're doing, and just something interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's different. No two people are the same.
No,
We never know what they're going to be like or what's going to happen. But the majority of them are our friends, and they invite us back and become a part of our lives. So, Steve is in a house full of women. He's usually outside in the shed, and he loves to go with me and Cindy. And him and my husband Matthew understand us twinning. Some husbands wouldn't understand that. We call each other several times a day. We see each other how many times a week?
oh, you see probably every day or every other day you see each other somewhere, and you're always talking and stuff. And that's when I sit in the back seat and let y'all talk, because whatever y'all talk about, I just sit there and just halfway listen, and just a lot of it's business, and I got enough going already without listening sometimes, but I just enjoy it.
And you enjoy your littles.
Oh yeah, my granddaughters, they're a handful. Every time I come home, they always want me to take them somewhere to eat or do something with them. And they've been our pride and joy since they've been born. And whatever we have, usually they get. They got more stuff than most kids do. And it keeps us busy, but we enjoy it. We wouldn't give it up for anything in the world.
All right. Good job, Steve.